Okay, so this video is about the Yamaha TX-81Z over there, and about its performance features, which I find they're not really sort of covered that much on, not on YouTube at least. It's a 4-operator FM synth made by Yamaha, and they made a lot of these, and a lot of different ones as well. And the really sort of strange thing is that all of them are very different. So let's say that I have a TQ5 there in the corner, you know, that's got built-in effects, but it doesn't have some of the features that that has, and vice versa. And I have TX-100 as well, and a few other bits and pieces, and they're all different in their own weird little ways. So the first things first is obviously that this is a multi-timbral module, so we can play 8-note polyphonic, and you can have up to 8 different sounds. Obviously, if you have 8 different sounds, they're all going to be monophonic. So each slot really have to assign how many notes you want. But I mean, you can, you know, we all know this, right? We all know we can do this kind of stuff with it, right? All that jiggy. Right, I mean, this is all pretty standard stuff we know, right? So the things I did want to cover on this is this actually has a chord function, so we have chord memory, and the other thing is we also have an alternate feature in the program mode. So I'm going to do some interesting stuff with that, which basically means that it's like a round robin on your MPC. Basically, we hit a note and it cycles between patches, and you set the patches you want it to cycle through, which I think is pretty cool. Every time you hit a note, it sort of randomly gives you stuff. I think that's what I wanted to cover anyway. So go to single mode. Select my MIDI channel. So that's my normal patch in single mode, for example. And the way we access the oh, actually, I want to show you the chord memory, don't I, first? Something like that. So yeah, I mean, that's chord memory there. You know, I'm pressing one note on the keyboard and it's doing that, but it's actually very different from most synthesizers like the Alpha Juno. And I'll show you why it's different. So the way you edit your chord memory, and this is a global parameter, unfortunately. Let's go back to your regular monotimbral single mode. Sorry, I got this set up on 2 different MIDI channels, so I have to keep changing. Anyway, so my normal mode, and you go into your utility, and you scroll until it says, you know, edit effect number 3, and you say, yeah, sure thing. And it says edit effects key on note question mark C3. Now this is the interesting part, okay? In an octave you've got your 12 keys, right? And the interesting thing about this chord memory is we can specify, okay, a 4-note chord per key. So C3 can be one specific 4-note chord. Your D key is another completely different chord, and so on. And this is the interesting thing. So it's asking you here, C3, okay, what chord you want C3 to be. That's the interesting thing. So if you press yes, you can actually play it a 4-note chord. So I'm just going to play one of these, and it's changed it. Every time I play C3 now, it's playing that chord. But if I play the other notes, see, hang on, sorry, hang on. It's playing all my same the other chords I programmed on the other notes, but when I hit C3, it's playing that chord. So I mean, I find that quite an interesting thing. You know, it's different because each note can have a different chord. So yeah, that's that part of it. Next part of it, if we go back to multi-mode and switch this on. Okay, now my previous multi setup I showed you, actually, that was with the drums and everything. the way I actually set that up was on just one keyboard, and I just did the note ranges. So on the lower side of the keyboard, actually let's move this camera, can't I? On the, ooh dear, I forgot I got the zoom on. On the lower keyboard I got bass, and then I got kick and snare, and that over there. Let's put this back actually. Ooh, fucking hell. Right, so that's okay, fine in that. That's that bit explained. Just explain your chord memory, and obviously you can also have it all set up on different MIDI channels. One downside of this synthesizer's got two outputs, and you can use them individually, but the problem is there's a lot of bleed. So if you use drums, okay, on one channel, or a bass and a pad on the other channel, you hard pan it, you'll have the bass spilling into the stuff where you don't want the bass in the drums. So it's kind of useless, but it's just fun to play about with. So we've explained the chord memory. Now if we put it on this one, that's the chord memory still. Okay, that's pretty boring. But if you notice, actually let's turn all these. I think I might have one here where I turned it all off. I don't know. Effects. Let's turn all that off, okay? I got some sounds that are very similar to each other. If you notice, every time I hit a note, it alternates, it changes the sound, which is pretty interesting, especially when you play a chord. Okay, now even more interesting, this has a little fake delay. So if we select the delay, and the way we edit all the effects is exactly the same as I showed you with the chord memory function. Okay, so you have to go into single mode. But I've basically edited this little delay here, which I think works at 120 BPM at the delay time. It's a short delay, but one thing you can do with the delay is like insert little pitch modulations, but it's not really pitch modulations, it just jumps a note and stuff. And you can also detune these notes and stuff, so you can just pressing it once and it's pretty interesting, right? And if we give it some effects, right, okay, wait for it. I mean, that's transform that little thing, isn't it? So I mean, that's just a quick little video. So chord memory, multi-timbral, and little fake delay thing on it, which is pretty cool. So that's the TX-81Z doing its thing. I hope I explained that well enough. Yeah. Cheers.